when you talk about the economy and the government, the only thing they really care about is the margin and the return on their investment. If they're not getting a return on their investment, why would they invest back into it? I get it, we need to invest money in the inner cities, but they need to see why they should invest money, right? Like, you got LeBron, he's from the inner city, but guess what? He's proven, right? So they don't mind investing back in Akron, but what's really coming out of these neighborhoods? And I don't think we take time to find out or to follow the story, you know what I'm saying? Or to really tap into it. Unless you can shoot a ball, soccer, anything else, they really don't care.
And I look at it from the standpoint that from all the times when I lived here and came to Cavs games, Browns games, Indians games, I spent some money. Concessions, parking, souvenirs. I know I spent a couple grand a year between all three of them.
We thank LeBron James for coming back. We love him. He's the king. We thank you. We thank you for the ring you got us. If you stayed in Miami, would there be renovations being done to the Q? I don't think so. We know you generate a lot of money for the city of Cleveland and for the downtown area. We appreciate everything you do, LeBron. We really do. But it took for you to come back for something to be done again. So in the same context, everyone's being used. LeBron, you're being used.
I think that's just part of social development and social organization, is that these companies, they should give back in the community, in the area, because if you don't, they'll wind up tearing it up.
Maybe a couple thousand. I can't live here, man. It's expensive to go to these games. It's expensive to these concessions.
Just give me a number, round it off to 10. 2,000 a year?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
well, then the billionaires, the owners, they should be responsible for it.
yeah.
They could use those dollars to people that really need help. So
You're being used. But we're the city of Cleveland, we're not going to be used. The residents won't be used. We're going to fight. We're going to stand up, and our voice is going to continue to be heard until this $400 or $500 million renovation, whatever the crazy numbers are, is bypassed. The Q looks beautiful to me, inside and out. There's no need for an upgrade for a facelift. We love sports. All these Clevelanders love sports, but there's a whole lot going around us that out-trumps sports. And hopefully, the next mayor of the city of Cleveland will have known that, or he'll see the serious nature of the residents in Cleveland. We're tired of the same politicians.
First of all, we have to learn. We can't just use social media to get our knowledge about what politicians are doing, right? You have to actually get out and be able to read, and they need somebody to help interpret what the laws and policies that they're trying to put in place, because they put stuff in and it's slick, and you don't even realize that it's there. So I think it's really important for us to educate ourselves on what it is that they're doing, so that way we'll be able to go back and have that articulate conversation with them and say, hey, I don't agree with this. I don't think we should use public funding. If we do, I think there needs to be some kind of clause that says if you do, then 30% needs to go back into the inner city. It needs to build Huff. It needs to build Harvard, 55th. You need to have those kind of programs in place for young African American children, because they may be the ones playing in these stadiums one day, right?
And most of the inner city, they can't afford these games.
Absolutely. So what would I say? So personally, I would have to look at the data. And I need to see the margin and the metrics. If it's worth it for the economy in Cleveland and it'll boost the economy, then I don't have a problem making that investment, as long as I'm getting my fair share of the ROI.
Annually.
Man, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. You stumped me.
Shit, it don't matter where they're going. I like them regardless. Cause I'm from Massachusetts, but I'm a Lakers fan. But say it was the Boston Lakers and they're going to another city, I like them regardless.
Okay.
It don't matter to me the location.
So if you was living in LA, how much would you pay? Let's just say hypothetically.
How much would I? Nothing.
Okay. And the reason?
Baron, this is probably a good question for him. He asked us how much will we pay to keep the Bulls in Chicago annually. Like
If the Bulls was leaving Chicago, how much would you pay annually to keep them there?
I wouldn't pay anything.
Okay.
I really wouldn't pay anything.
I probably wouldn't pay anything either.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'm stingy, dude.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I will say this. I think the more educated we are and we understand how to apply the knowledge, because knowledge is not power. Only knowledge you know how to apply is actually power,
Application.
right? So I think the more that we're able to apply the knowledge that we know, I think that where we've been denied, we'll see that we've only been delayed and not denied, if that makes sense.
That's
But the thing that makes it so, that appears it's so low, is the fact that the population of the city continues to decline.
This city, yes.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So I think 30 years, that might not be long enough.
Well, the Raiders are still paying for their stadium. The Rams are still paying for their stadium from the 90s.
Again, you've proven my point.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
It's amazing to me how funds are all of a sudden discovered during election time. The 500 homes that would be demolished, the safe route to school program, all these things that citizens of Cleveland have already been trying to do, but our voices went unheard until election time.
So Harvard and Stanford economists say that stadiums are bad investments because, especially NFL stadiums.
Yeah, because
they're just sitting there.
Cities, I mean, and especially this one, because you're only playing 8 games a year.
That's
Ain't
exactly.
no roof on it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have multiple events to be able to
sustain
maintain
it
an
in the off season
and justify.
Yeah.
Money's coming in.
Yeah.
Because of that. That's why I couldn't understand when
they didn't
we
make
had
a
the
dome.
stadium, they didn't make it a dome
That's
stadium.
what somebody was saying. Okay. And
that's why places like Detroit and Minneapolis and Indianapolis with their dome stadiums get not only just the football, but they got the NCAA, the Final Four, all of that. Concerts, conventions.
They're seasonal positions. They're part-time. You can't sustain the family,
Benefits,
the economy with them.
Benefits, that's correct.
And the tourists that come here, it just circulates within the downtown area.
I agree. They don't go out to the community.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So
the money's for the people. That money that's saved, it's a bank account for the residents of Cleveland. We should have a say in where our money is spent. And if it's on the ballot and we choose not to put $500 million into a facelift, then you should hear, you should listen. If you don't listen now, you'll listen come election day when you're no longer in office. The $400 or $500 million can be better utilized in so many different ways to compact so many different lives, so many different residents of Cleveland. That money needs to be directed somewhere else.
Our community. I think we have all the resources that we need right here. I think that we need to utilize them better, right? There's a lot of programs out here that people either they want to develop or that they already have, but we don't know how to connect each other. We need to learn to connect, right? We need to be that Barnabas. It's about collecting all the links. How can we all make money together? It's possible. We just haven't found a way.